Welcome to Real the Core.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Real the Core. I am your host, Den, a.k.a. Jackson, and we're joined here today by a couple people. Joshua Morales.
Hey.
We're joined here by Gio Salsa.
Hey.
Reece Loomis.
It's great to be back.
And Nick Gofas.
I'm contractually obligated to be here.
Yeah, he is. We got him signed on for a couple more podcasts. So it's been a minute since we've done one of these, almost 2 years, to be exact. So we're gonna do a little test run here and see if we can get into the groove of things, and hopefully be back better than ever. Just one thing before we get properly started. One thing we're gonna try and sort out between this and the next episode is audio. It's probably gonna cut in and out a little bit, probably not sound as good as we would like it to. As I said, this is just a test run. We're going to try and iron out a lot of the kinks between here and next time. So, with that out of the way, let's get into it. We're going to kind of cover some recent things, and we're going to go back. We're just going to cover a bunch of shit from when we last did a podcast to now. We'll just play a little bit of catch-up. We're going to start with Deadpool 3, which just came out last weekend. Actually, everybody here besides Reece saw it. We all saw it together.
Oh, never mind.
Reece wasn't there, sadly.
I wasn't.
But yeah, so let's get into it. We're just going to talk open spoilers if you haven't seen it, which I'm sure you have. If you haven't, click off. But let's get into it. Gofas, I'm going to let you start because I know you have strong feelings on this movie.
First off, if you've seen my letterboxd, you already know how I feel about this movie. But first off, I shouldn't even say it's grown on me because that would be like saying me thinking that it's good now. It's better than when I walked out of the theater, but it's still not for me, it just didn't resonate with me. It didn't hit home with me. I thought a lot of the jokes fell very flat. I think it very much falls into that Gen X, almost millennial kind of humor.
Gen X and millennial. You just skipping a generation.
You could very much tell they gave Ryan Reynolds a lot of creative control over the script, and I personally do not think Sean Levy was the right guy to direct this. I don't know what other candidates they had lined up for this, but they sure as hell might have done a better job than fucking Stranger Things guy.
The director of Free Guy?
Yeah, director of Free Guy, director of Real Steel, director of Night at the Museum. He directed Big Fat Liar with Paul Giamatti, the one where he turns blue.
That's right.
The thing is, I don't think Sean Levy's a bad director. And let me preface this by saying that I think Sean Levy makes good movies. I love Night at the Museum. Big Fat Liar is a funny movie. Real Steel is a really good movie. I do not think his style is suited for a character like Deadpool. And I said this to Jeremy and Leah on the way back from North Carolina. I said, give Michael Bay $200 million and a Deadpool script and just let him go buck wild.
Oh, Michael Bay is crazy. So there's a lot to break down here. And Gofas, I will say, your thoughts on this were a lot more mellow than when you walked out of the theater. Because
it's been 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks. I've had time to contain my thoughts.
Yeah, I think what you said to me was, quote, no more movies after coming out of the theater.
Yeah, no more movies ever.
It's interesting you said the jokes don't work, Gofas, because I found myself laughing a lot more during this movie than I thought I was. You're right. A lot of it was Gen Z humor and shit. I think he says let him cook or some shit at some point.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of weird stuff like that. It also helped them get away with some jokes that I didn't think they were gonna be able to put in there. Like, I definitely did not expect to go to a movie and hear somebody say the R slur, like,
Oh
in
yeah.
2024, you know?
That was honestly, that was like the hardest I laughed during the movie.
Yeah, and that joke is from Borat, too.
What was it from?
So, like, the dinner scene in Borat, somebody says, they're, like, talking about their
He's retired.
relative, he's retired, yeah.
Oh my God, yes, I remember that. Oh my God.
Yeah, that was
You're right.
that was the first thing I thought of, but
Oh, that's strange.
that caught me so off guard.
Reece, can I ask, like you said that it didn't really meet your expectations. Can I ask, like, what was it that you were expecting that you didn't get out of it?
I was expecting it to be more like an event movie, like No Way Home or Endgame. So I was expecting, and I feel like the narrative, like, pacing of it, really hurt that. Because when you come into one of these movies, you're expecting, like, the third act is going to be, like, jam-packed with cameos, right? And, like, we get pretty much all the cameos in, like, the first half of the movie, right? So
Yeah.
I think, like, it feels like, I don't know. It feels like they shot this movie without knowing exactly the structure of it.
I feel like they've set up a lot of really interesting plot points that they just forgot about halfway through.
Oh, totally.
And they just didn't acknowledge after that. Like, that was my biggest problem. Like, they had the whole thing with, like, Paradox that they just ditched for, well, I forgot her name, the bald lady. And then, you know, they just had a lot of things going on that they just...
Sandra Nova.
Yeah, and it's just, I felt like a lot of things, that, like, they were stuck in the void the whole time.
Yeah.
And they were talking about, you know, the little Thor thing. Like, I get it was a bit, but they made it seem like we're going to find out why Thor was crying by the end. Like, I thought they were going to do something more, but most of the movie, they were just stuck in the void.
I will defend the Thor bit. That was one of the funniest running
That was
jokes in the
good.
movie. I genuinely hope we never find out what the context of that was, because I think it's just funnier that way.
Everybody thinks it's going to be in Secret Wars.
Was that a newly filmed scene, or did they, like...
Okay,
It's composited.
It looks like an alternate take of the Dark. It doesn't look like exactly the Dark World scene. It is Dark World footage, but they like altered it a lot. I need to go back and like look at them side by side just to see like what exactly they did to it. But no, I love that running bit. I thought it was very funny. And as I said, I really hope there's just never, it's never acknowledged again, because I feel like it's like way funnier that way.
No, yeah.
I do agree that there was a lot of stuff that wasn't like fully realized. Pretty much everything, to be honest
Totally.
with you, felt like half-baked just from a story standpoint to me.
At one point, it just became a movie about, you know, like action figures fighting. Like, that's, like, and it was fun, but it's just like, I stopped caring about the story halfway through.
Like, I don't even feel like it was good. Like, the Sabretooth and Wolverine fight, that was like 20 seconds long.
No, he literally just ran into him, slit his throat, boom, that's it.
And I also
It was
feel like
the Darth Maul fight from Rebels, except bad.
Yeah.
yeah. I feel like the marketing of this movie also really kind of fucked it, because they did a like whole trailer that was literally just like, hey, you're going to see Wolverine fight Sabretooth in this movie. And then it's like the shittiest fight ever. The jumping into the portal at the very end of that trailer, like, I feel like they were kind of teasing more than they actually had to give.
But at the same time, there was a lot that they kind of held back from the trailers, at least until the last couple weeks. That is, like the Deadpool Corps, all the like Channing Tatum, all the Resistance team, Johnny Storm, like all of that was kind of held back. So I get what you mean, especially about the portal, because it's like where that portal went wasn't really all that interesting.
No, they just go back to their home world. It's like the least interesting thing it could have been.
But at the same time, it's like, while they did use that as kind of like a big oh my god moment, they did hold back like a lot of other information.
Also, the whole point of the movie, kind of how they presented it, is that Deadpool's joining the MCU, and that was the main plot. And then nothing happened with that, and like, just nothing happened in the movie.
I wouldn't say that was the main, because to me, like when the setup of the movie is that Deadpool's world is dying. I mean, Paradox just kind of uses the MCU as like a...
more so mean like behind the scenes and how they marketed it. That this is, you know, a movie talking about the merger, and he's joining the MCU. And I don't know, I just had a whole different movie in mind based off what they were telling us.
Yeah.
I mean, I was surprised he didn't end up in 616 by the end, but like I don't... Like, by the end of the movie, I didn't see that as a bad thing. That was not really what left me kind of scratching my head. I think it makes sense to leave him in his own for now, because Otherwise, every single project that comes out, you're gonna have people asking, okay, where's Deadpool and Wolverine? Where's Deadpool and Wolverine? And I don't think that's something that they would want to put on really anything, because Deadpool is just not a character that's gonna fit every project. You know?
Yeah, I mean, how weird would it be if you're watching a movie and there's been no fourth wall breaks, everything's straight, and then like Deadpool just shows up and fucking talks to the camera? Like, that'd be so bad.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think leaving him in the Fox universe until Secret Wars is probably the best move. Because he did interact with like multiple MCU characters in the movie. It's
Happy Hogan.
Yeah.
Happy Hogan. He said, oh god, what was it? Smashturbating?
Smashturbating, yeah.
They got Jon Favreau to say smashturbating in a Marvel movie, which is definitely interesting. But him, B-15, like all the TVA shit.
Stuff like that, though. Like, I think personally, I agree with like a lot of the jokes falling flat. Like, like I didn't laugh at that stuff. Like, I don't know if my humor is just kind of cooked, and it's just, I don't know. A lot of the jokes were really funny, and I enjoyed them. But whoever was talking about how, I think Nick said like half of the jokes fell flat, and I don't know. 12-year-old me would have died laughing. Whenever Deadpool 1 came out, like I was all over. Like I wasn't about to watch the movie, but I watched all the clips on YouTube, and like I laughed at every single one of those jokes. So I feel like they cater a lot of, those jokes to that demographic, like younger kids. So I don't know.
I will say, on a more positive note, a lot of the action scenes, specifically the two fight scenes where it's just Deadpool and Wolverine, specifically the one where they're fighting in the Honda Odyssey, and also that little battle they have
that was great.
in the Void. I thought the action choreography between those two was really good. And
I agree.
Like that third act fight where it's the one shot and you cannot understand a single thing of what is going on the screen.
It's so noisy.
So much being thrown at you.
Yeah.
It's so noisy. It's like a really impressive shot, but yeah, I was struggling to pay attention to what was happening.
And it's really like, if it was anything other than a bunch of Deadpools, it probably would have been cool. But like, I was having trouble keeping track of like R. Wade during that.
Yeah,
which Wolverine was easy. I genuinely think it would have been fine if it was just Wolverine, but it's like trying to track our Deadpool in with all those other Deadpools. It was a bit noisy. You're right.
I forgot completely about Deadpool, our Deadpool in that scene, because I was just so focused on enjoying Wolverine fighting.
Yeah.
Someone on Twitter was talking about how like the best jokes in that movie are the PG ones, like the Blade joke about how there's only ever going to be one Blade, like stuff like those kind of jokes. Those were funny. Like the Ben Affleck divorce joke, that was funny.
Yeah, to add on to that, like I agree. I think the like meta jokes were the best, and I was surprised how many not only like really obscure kind of Marvel trivia they referenced, but also real life stuff. Like, did you guys catch the Hugh Jackman divorce reference that like
that was funny,
happened as this movie was filming?
At the end of the day, it is just kind of like one long like meta commentary, because the movie doesn't really care to make it subtle that the TVA is really just an allegory for like studio executives in this one. And pruning is the merger.
The whole point of Anchor Beings isn't that the multiverse has, one sacred being. No, it's about franchises losing their lead actor. I think everything that's set up in this movie is it fits within the scope of Deadpool itself. But I think
100%.
when Fantastic Four tries to tackle all this, they're just gonna overcome.
That's exactly it.
No, I feel like this movie made me more confused about the multiverse logic of the MCU.
No, it makes no sense. And also, Reece, you know what it makes even worse?
What?
The fucking Fox timeline.
Oh yeah, it completely fucks the Fox timeline.
Like, you could at least, I feel like you could sit somebody down and explain to them how the timeline worked before this, as confusing as it was. If you laid it out, you could make it make sense. Like, you have the original X-Men trilogy, you got the Wolverine, and then Days of Future Past happens, so then it resets, and then you have all the new shit, and then you have Logan and the Deadpool movies, right? But now I don't even fucking know anymore.
I don't know. Somebody managed to come up with an explanation for it in that one chat, but I don't know. There's something to be fished out here, but I do agree. I mean, it was always fucked though, so it's whatever.
I
They had the chance to
Like,
fix
I've
it, though.
never seen this much complete disregard.
Yeah.
The most logical explanation that I've heard to explain how the end of this movie can even happen with Wolverine and X-23 being in that universe. Like, the only explanation I've heard as to how that can happen that makes sense would mean that Logan just never happens now. And don't you think that's a little weird that this movie that's supposedly going to not fuck with Logan? I don't know. That just, in general, I actually don't think this movie justified bringing Jackman back. Like, I don't think they did anything interesting enough with him
Really?
to warrant it.
I loved the like character arc for Wolverine in this.
Aiden explained it to me. Like, it's like every time there's a Wolverine is in a movie, it's always like he doesn't know how to be a part of a team. He has to learn how to be a part of a team. That is 90% of Wolverine's arcs in these movies. And this one just did the exact same thing. Oh, I don't know how to be part of a team. Like Jackson said, it didn't really justify him bringing him back. As awesome as it was, there was no like actual purpose.
Gio, wait until Secret Wars when that's gonna be his whole arc. During that.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I can't be a part of a team. Halfway through the movie, wait, I know how to be a part of
And
a
then
team.
halfway through the movie, he shows up on Battle World.
Wolverine, we need you to distract Doom. Okay.
Jesus Christ.
I did enjoy the movie. It was like I was having a shitty morning, and then that opening scene, bye, that like brought me right back. It was a really fun time. It lifted my spirits. It did what it was there to do. You know, I had a little bit of higher expectations. That's probably my fault, but I don't know. I enjoyed the movie.
The Wolverine montage was cool.
I like that scene. I really loved
That
the
was
first
funny.
like third. I really loved everything up until Johnny died. I was really fucking with it.
Totally. The flow of it was perfect up until then.
Yeah, after that, it kind of started to lose me, especially the third act. I thought was just really sloppy. But the thing that I did not like was, like, I'm a big fan of the Loki show. I really like both seasons.
Yeah.
And I don't know why the fuck they had the entire TVA in this movie, and for whatever reason decided to set the third act in a subway station.
Yeah. What was that? That was the dumbest thing.
What? That was so weird.
The whole third act was so anticlimactic. I actually thought there was going to be more movie after, like, Deadpool and Wolverine go in and, like, hold hands or whatever. I thought the movie was, like, there was still the third act was going to happen. Because it felt so underwhelming. It feels like they wrote this movie as they were fucking going.
That's exactly how I felt, too. It's like, it kind of just felt like they were sort of making it up as they went along. Which has worked. I mean, that kind of worked with Iron Man, right? Like, they kind of made that shit up as they went along, too. But I think Iron Man was also a lot simpler than this movie was, and good.
I think Iron Man was like, they have nothing to prove with that movie, so it's just like, let's make the best thing, like, on its own. Deadpool is trying to be so many things, and I think that's where it fell short.
That's the problem. It's like they were trying to focus on so many different plot lines, and like, you know, Deadpool wanting to save the world, and then Wolverine learning how to be a part of a team, and then there's a whole thing with, you know, bringing back Logan and X-23 and Paradox and Cassandra Nova, and it was just they were dealing with a lot, and they just couldn't focus on one single plot line, so it just kind of fell flat near the end.
And also, I need the MCU to start lighting their movies again. That would be really cool if they started doing that again.
What are you talking about? That diner scene was so perfectly lit.
Yeah, let's bring back gaffers and grips, please.
Come on.
God.
Listen, Jackson, you know Disney doesn't have the money for that.
Look, I hate to be that, because I know you go on Twitter and like you scroll and everybody's like, "Oh, this looks like shit. This looks like shit." So I hate to be like just dogpiling, but also this movie costs more than Dune.
Yeah. When you put it like that, it's pretty bad.
It costs more than the Batman. It costs more than Ad Astra. It costs more than probably Top Gun Maverick, if I had to guess. It costs more than John Wick 4. Like,
listen, wait until Doomsday comes out and like there's no lighting.
No, okay, no.
Like,
All
the
right.
CGI is like a quarter finished because they gave
Here's
all
the
the
thing.
money to Robert Downey Jr.
At least the Russo brothers, like, there was a time when Civil War was the worst that one of these movies looked.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Right?
You're
You
right.
go back and look at that now, and it looks like a fucking movie at least. No Way Home, Love and Thunder, this. Like, are so much worse than like at least Civil War looked like a movie. I don't know how else to put it.
No, the shots looked
One
like
had its moments that
things were happening in real life. Like it didn't look all CG generated.
And it's like I don't need it to look real. Like Furiosa, I think is a really good example. If you guys
True.
have seen that, that's not a movie that looks real, but it looks really good.
No, it looks like shit,
It's
but you
very
can like
stylish.
believe that it's a universe that exists. You know?
Yeah, I mean, it's like it is a fake looking movie. It's it's weird. I don't know why I like how this movie looks because it goes against everything that I usually do like. It's very sharp, very clearly digital. Almost everything is CG, but it's like you said, I buy it, you know? And it's stylized, right? It doesn't feel like it didn't feel like it was falling short. It felt like that was exactly how George Miller wanted it to look. And I don't totally feel that way about a lot of Marvel movies. 70% of this movie takes place in locations that are just from the Loki TV show, and Loki looks so much better. in, like, every
You're
way.
right.
Yeah, and it looks cool in Loki. That's the thing. I don't know. It is frustrating that these movies do look like that. I do have hope for Fantastic Four though, and I guess do you have any closing thoughts on the movie?
Okay, yeah. For how much I literally just dogged on this movie the entire time, I thought like it looks like shit, it's paced like shit, but I don't feel like it's trying to like take itself too seriously, and so I'm a little more forgiving towards something it's 2 hours. It's pretty short for an MCU movie. It's just throwing jokes at you the whole time. Like I was entertained the whole movie. There's like some moments where they slow down to do like character stuff, and I was kind of rolling my eyes at that. But other than that, I just thought it was really fun. I mean, it's definitely rough around the edges, but
Well, actually, on that point, Reece, on the character stuff, I meant to bring this up earlier, but like, why the fuck did they regress Deadpool's character completely?
yeah,
At the end of the second movie, he's like, "Oh yeah, all right, we're gonna have a kid. You know, everything's good." And then you start this, and it's like, we broke up. It's been 6 years, and I'm very sad. Thank you, Zeb Wells.
yeah,
I think you could have had the exact same arc had you had Deadpool have a kid, and you have a 6-year-old, 5-year-old kid at the start of this movie of Deadpool's, and he's like, "All right, this universe is going to kill all my friends and my kid, and also, I need to set a good example for this guy." That reads a lot better to me than, "Oh, I need to impress my girlfriend."
Yeah.
I agree. And I also just think Deadpool's motivation being like the fact that he wants to feel accepted as a hero or as a good person is like the shittiest possible arc you could give him, especially for his
Especially
final
after the
movie.
last one.
Yeah,
When he was like, "Oh, I just want to save the world," I'm like, this is just not who he is.
it feels like you're not watching the same character when he says some of those things. Like he's
Yeah.
never somebody I can take seriously as a like dramatic character, you know?
I was like waiting for the bit, like, "Oh, just kidding.
Yeah.
Deadpool, why do I care?" And then it just didn't happen.
Yeah, and like you can make him work as a character. Like there's so many things about him. Like think about how much fucking PTSD you would have if you died a million fucking times.
And there's the whole thing where it's like, because he had cancer before he got his powers, and so like whenever he regenerates, that's why he doesn't regenerate, like healthy body. It regenerates as his face looking like that. It's because it's like he's constantly in pain when he regenerates.
Yeah.
Because it just regenerates the cancer cells.
Yeah, I think they had to either just not take him very seriously as a character or like do something more interesting, because this whole character arc does not feel earned at all. And it's so hard to take seriously.
Yeah. Josh, you got any final thoughts before we move on?
I had a lot of fun, and I'm not too harsh on this. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I agree with what you're saying, though. I did have a lot of fun with it, though. Probably more than a lot of other people, but...
A lot of fun, too. I mean, I would have had less fun if I wasn't seeing it with, like, 20 of my best friends. That probably would have... I probably would have been a little more annoyed if I was just sitting in a movie theater watching it by myself, Also, I do feel like, one last thought on my end, X-23 was another character that was, like, very wasted to me.
Totally.
On the same side as Wolverine,
And I feel like bringing her back kind of undercut her arc in Logan.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I didn't think they did enough with her to justify that. And I was really excited to see her again, but it was I was kind of on the same boat with her as I was with Hugh, where I was like, this just doesn't feel justified. But I guess if anything, this leaves the door open for her to be like the Deadpool going forward in the MCU, which I would like.
Do you mean the Wolverine?
What did I say? Did I say Deadpool?
You said the Deadpool, yeah.
Oh, my fault. Yeah, I meant Wolverine. Do you have any closing thoughts, Gofas?
Yeah, I will say one thing. For a 55-year-old actor coming back to a role that he's been playing for 20 years and got paid like a boatload of money, Hugh Jackman did put up like a seriously surprisingly good performance.
He was good.
He was to be phoning it in the whole time.
I am on the same boat as you. I kind of figured he'd be sleepwalking.
You could tell he's passionate about the character, which is nice to see.
And the thing is, I'll say one last thing. I saw like fucking Blu-ray Angel on Twitter talking about Hugh Jackman should get a supporting actor nomination. I'm like, yeah, all right, good job, man.
Do we want to do ratings?
Yeah, sure, ratings.
I feel like we used to do that, right?
We did. Reece, what do you got?
I'm giving this the beefiest 6 out of 10 of all time. It's like just barely a good movie, but it's a good movie.
Yeah. Josh?
7.5.
All right, Gofas, where you at?
This is like a super solid 2.
2
is insane.
2 out of 5 or 2 out of 10?
2 out of 10.
Damn.
Okay, damn. All right. Gio, what about you?
I gave it a 2 out of 5, so like 4.
All right. So moving on. All right. Last time we did a podcast was 2022. Ant-Man and the Wasp was 2023. Is that right?
Quantumania?
Or was that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Quantum
Okay.
is 2023.
So in the time that we last did a podcast, Kang, the proper character, was introduced into the MCU and then completely immediately removed.
Yeah, set up as the biggest threat in the whole MCU, and then fucked right
and
off.
then gone. Just since we last did a podcast.
Yep.
And now we're getting Doom, and we're getting Doomsday and Secret Wars, and Doom will be played, of course, by Robert Downey Jr.
Of course, everyone's
Of course.
I think
just the most popular fan cast of all time.
I think I may be the only one that's not pissed about this, because I'm just waiting till they explain
Really?
the justification. They're gonna have to justify it, especially now that they're getting so much backlash.
What if instead of Robert Downey Jr., it's Kirk Lazarus? It's Robert Downey Jr. playing Kirk Lazarus playing Victor Von Doom.
What are you talking about?
Do you know who Kirk Lazarus is? Have you ever seen the movie Tropic Thunder?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
That would be pretty fire.
Jesus Christ. But Reece, can I be so for real with you?
Go for it.
I don't think there's anything they can fucking do to justify this.
I disagree. I think if they handle it
about every possible scenario.
Bro, there's that comic book where Tony Stark becomes Dr. Doom.
Except he's Victor Von Doom in this. They said he's Victor Von Doom.
Yeah, I mean,
but Reece, all right, let me ask you, what can they possibly do to make this work in your eyes?
I got 2 things. Number 1,
Okay.
just never show his fucking face, which I don't know how they're gonna do that. Like, that wouldn't be a very entertaining villain
They're
if you
paying
can't.
him over $80 million, so that's not happening.
Right. I'm saying hypothetically that maybe would work. The other thing they can do is, like, in the same way Deadpool and Wolverine kind of deliberately avoided but also kind of like shat on your expectations of, you know, not ruining the ending of Logan, I think they could do something like so stupid and meta with it that people couldn't get mad. Like, I would still prefer they just cast somebody new if they're going to introduce this like super iconic character that has never been done justice. But if they're going forward with this, I think the only option they have is to somehow explain it or justify it within the story in like kind of a meta way.
This is something I found on Twitter. Someone by the name of Flops Comics on Twitter drew their own comic interpretation of what could go down, and I think if they go this route, it'd be perfect. So it's RDJ as Dr. Doom walking into the Council of Dooms, and he's like, this is the Council of Doom. We got the idea from Kang and Reed Richards. And then the real Victor Von Doom, who would be played by somebody else, goes, you took inspiration from Reed Richards? And he gets pissed, kills RDJ, and he takes over as the main Doom. That is the only way I will be happy with RDJ.
They're not paying RDJ $80 million just to kill
Yeah, I was about to say.
If he's in there for...
That would be the most expensive joke of all time.
Yes.
I know, but that is the only way I will be satisfied with it. Flops Comics had a really good idea. It's not gonna happen.
I agree with you that would be the only way this would work, but you know damn fucking well that's not what they're doing.
I know.
I don't understand why RDJ is that, like, where did that come? Like, who the fuck asked for that? Like,
Because they know the general audience will eat it up. Like, oh my god, RDJ's coming back.
I don't think they will. My dad was like, "This is stupid," and he doesn't even know Doctor Doom like that. He was just like, "Oh, this is
more than general audience just by association with you." I think
I disagree.
Really?
Oh no.
Yeah, I think my dad falls. I mean, I yap a lot to him, but how much of that he actually absorbs? Probably a lot less. You know, like he's a general audience member because he did not watch Secret Invasion or the Marvels.
I didn't watch either of those.
The Marvels is fun. Secret Invasion is the worst thing they've ever made.
Okay, I have a hypothetical.
Yeah.
If Robert Downey Jr. is Victor Von Doom, it's the character we know from the comics, and he pulls off the best performance you've ever seen, and you don't see Iron Man and you don't see Robert Downey Jr. the whole time. Would you like it?
Okay. But I guess, but like you're again proposing two things that aren't, because like I think a big thing about Doom is that he doesn't show his face. I think that should have been something they brought. That is something they should bring, and that's something none of the adaptations have gotten right.
Yeah.
That would be like Darth Vader walking around and just taking off his helmet every couple of seconds, right? I know they're not going to do that because they would not be paying RDJ $80 million and getting him a fucking trailer park. If
they're getting him a trailer park?
Mask the whole time. No, he has an entire trailer lot to himself.
Already?
No, for when they film.
Yeah, when are they filming?
Early next year, I believe, is when it's expected to start.
So then the movie comes out in 2026. So something isn't okay. Bro, this one's gonna look like dog shit. I'm so pissed. I'm so mad.
There'll probably be a delay. There's a backlash that they have to deal with. They'll probably finish filming like mid 2025. They still gotta edit.
I think it's too late for them to backtrack on this, though.
I mean, they can still tweak the script a little bit at least.
For sure. But like they just signed RDJ on for these two movies. They already signed the Russo brothers on. Like, I don't know, man. It might. I genuinely think it might be too late for them to just plop them out. Like we don't know the specifics of the contract, but you know, that could end very badly for them.
They're doing both Avengers, right?
Yeah, and RDJ is on both of them as well, as far as I can tell.
Do you think he'll be a main villain in both, or just in Doomsday?
I feel like he's going to be the main villain in both.
He's got to be. I mean, if they're going to do it, they kind of have to do this right. So
I hate this. I hate we're in this situation. This is very annoying.
Okay, so I think also what's probably going to happen is from what I can gather and from what I've been seeing people theorize, the post-credit scene from the Marvels is the same Earth as Deadpool, which again makes no fucking sense, but we're going to go with it.
They don't care about that.
Because fuck the Fox timeline, I guess.
Yeah, and fuck us for caring and trying to understand how the way this universe works.
No, I mean, look, we're putting more thought into this than the people who made these movies. So, but regardless, I think Monica being there in the Fox universe will cause an incursion, and then Deadpool, Wolverine, all of them, you know, the worlds will collide, etc. Battle World, blah blah blah. I kind of have a gut feeling Battle World will just end up being the Void, but you know, we'll see what happens. I feel like it being the Void would be boring as fuck, to put it frankly.
Yeah, I agree. I really don't know how they're gonna make this work. I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt, and say if they're doing this, there has to be a reason.
Something nice.
Yeah.
Fantastic Four looks really fucking good.
I've been defending the Pedro casting to Derek. Derek is not having it, but I don't know. I
like it.
Why though? He looks good in the trailer, but
he looks like he's giving a good performance. He's not just. When they cast him, I kind of just figured he'd be doing the generic Pedro. You know, what you would expect from him. He's putting on a much different performance than I was expecting him to when they cast him. So I'm getting on board with him. I thought he was a good actor. It's just Marvel putting him in instead of literally anybody else, I figured that Marvel would want him to do, generic Pedro Pascal shit. But I'm glad they're not. And aesthetically, it looks sick. The score, Reece, have you heard the Michael Giacchino theme for it?
No, not yet.
Dude, I gotta send you it.
Please.
It sounds sick as hell.
Yeah, I'm hyped.
It looks pretty dope from the eyes, at least.
Yeah.
Cool.
Did you say Galactus?
Yeah.
I did read somewhere that the model they used for that teaser was a slightly modified Ultimate Alliance 1 model.
Oh, really? That's funny.
That Galactus is perfect. So I wouldn't mind if they just use that and like slightly tweak it to look more like make sense within that world.
Mm-hmm.
Could someone send that leak?
Have you not seen it?
I didn't watch it.
Yeah, I'll shoot it to you when we're done. I don't know why they don't just post these things online. It still bothers me.
I think it's so funny that the Fantastic Four footage leaked, but you cannot find anything of the Captain America footage or the Thunderbolts footage.
Yeah, it doesn't look good. Captain America.
You're going to sit there and tell me you aren't excited to see 80-year-old Harrison Ford in full CGI doing Red Hulk?
It's going to be so bad.
Okay, but you know what I am excited for? The behind the scenes on that.
Bro, I cannot wait to see Falcon, who started as just a dude with metal wings, fly completely through fighter jets at Mach 3. Dude, I cannot wait to see that.
And it's like all the people involved are like, oh, this is a return to like the Winter Soldier style. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? The Winter Soldier did not have a Hulk.
When I watch the trailer, it just makes me want to go back and watch Winter Soldier again.
Yeah. All right. Also joining us here to talk about this movie is Sim. Sim, are you here?
Yeah.
All right, bet. So Sim, what'd you think of the new trailer?
The trailer is very reminiscent of like not the Suicide Squad, but the first Suicide Squad, and how well edited that was, and then the movie was just actually dookie. I really hope it won't be as bad as Suicide Squad, but that was just like one comparison I noticed with like it was just really well done and it made me excited. And then I just kind of thought about it for more than 2 seconds and I was like, oh, this is probably
a really cool
good.
trailer.
It is. It's just it looks
I
bad.
wonder if Charles Manson is going to be in it, but
No, I heard rumors that Charles Manson was going to be playing the Doctor Doom variant in this one, Josh.
Charles Manson's been dead for like 50 years.
That's what the liberals want you to think, Gofas.
Listen, I saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I know what happens.
Yo, wait. Okay, another thing that happened since we last recorded a podcast is they decided to do a Daredevil show, and then they started making it and realized it was bad, and then they just redid the whole fucking thing.
I did not know they redid it.
You didn't know about this?
No, I missed this stuff.
What happened was that, like, they were doing Born Again without connecting it to, like, the Netflix show. They were basically just rebooting it. And then they realized that was stupid and dumb. So they went back and reshot the entire...
They were fucking rebooting it?
They shot 3 more episodes. And then they reshot every scene with Vanessa to put back in the Netflix actress. And now it's coming out next March.
This shit's gonna suck.
No, but it might be good now.
No way they pull it together, though. If they already shot that much.
Who's the director of it?
They got the Loki guys to do the...
Okay,
new
it
stuff.
might be good then. I changed my mind.
That's what I'm saying. No, they got the showrunner now worked on Punisher. So they have like someone who actually worked on the Netflix shows.
Oh man.
And they got the fight choreographer back from the Netflix series.
Oh,
Sick.
beautiful. Weren't they saying that they were supposed to do like a scene that was reminiscent of the hallway fight scene, but not exactly, like a callback to it almost?
I'm sure they will be doing a oneer. I would be
They
shocked
have
if
to.
we went through that series without having a oneer. Gofas, how do we feel about Daredevil?
I'm there day one. That's all I got.
Yeah. If that show's bad, what are you gonna do, Gofas?
I don't know. I might go and live my life like a normal person and just be like, oh man, that sucked.
Yeah, I'd probably kill
I don't-
myself. I guess we're on slightly different wavelengths.
And then like
Honestly,
maybe
that-
I'll go and like throw like a grenade at the Disney headquarters, but
Yeah, and complain about it on the internet.
in Minecraft, I'll fly a jet into Walt Disney World on a flight simulator.
All right, so moving on. Since we last did a podcast, they brought back Henry Cavill, announced his big return, and then fired him again, and now they're making a new Superman movie, and it's almost done. That's what I wrote down for this topic.
That did happen.
Isn't that funny as fuck?
It's hilarious.
Isn't that so funny?
And it's kind of The Rock's fault, which is even funnier.
Okay, can I talk about The Rock?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I've already told
I've
this
had
to
this
Sim.
explained. Yeah, it's crazy.
Black Adam failing at the box office, which leads to Dwayne Johnson getting pushed out of DC, which leads to him not only going back to the Fast and Furious franchise, but also leads to him returning to WWE,
Yeah.
which leads to him setting up a feud with Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes, which leads to one of the greatest tag team matches of all time, which was The Rock and Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes, which led to the greatest WrestleMania match, Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Championship, and now has sort of brought wrestling back into like a renaissance period. So Black Adam basically led to the reemergence of pro wrestling.
And it also led to Dwayne Johnson realizing he should probably make a good movie, which is kind of nice.
Which is Red One.
Oh yeah, Red One. I mean, I remember like all the fucking like hype around his return in Black Adam, and then they fired him like not even half a year later. It was genuinely like insane to witness go down. And now obviously James Gunn's Superman just wrapped filming. So how do we feel about like just DC over the last few years?
Honestly, my interest in DC has probably been a little bit more active than my interest in Marvel as of lately, because I know that they're kind of rebooting everything, versus Marvel is still sticking to their guns and sticking to the Russos, bringing back RDJ and whatever. Versus we're having something a little bit more fresh with DC, and knowing that they're like going to take maybe some creative risks has me a little bit more excited. Because I feel like I guess, when did Wonder Woman 1984 come out? Like 2020?
2020.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Late 2020.
Yeah, like that little era right there, that definitely depressed me for a bit, and like just having like nothing good. And then Aquaman came out and it was bad. And then Shazam 2 came out and it was bad. And then I couldn't even get through all of Black Adam. And then I was just like, okay, I'm just never gonna watch a superhero movie ever again. And then it was like, just kidding, we're redoing everything. I feel more optimistic than I do about Marvel, but like, never put your trust in.
Well, they also have something that. Well, I see. Here's the thing, though. DC has something that Marvel currently does not, which is James Gunn. And I think if you go up to random ass people and ask them what their favorite movie, like MCU movie is, you're gonna get a lot of Guardians of the Galaxies. You know.
Here's how I feel about DC. I'm excited that they're rebooting it, but then I keep remembering that James Gunn is keeping on a few people, and it's just like, I don't know. I can't shake the fact that it's not a complete and total reboot. But then I think about like Superman, and it's like Superman. I'm really excited for because it just feels fresh. You know, it's like a full reboot. Like they're gonna start with Superman, then maybe do a separate Batman project, and it's, to me, it kind of feels like how I felt early MCU, putting it all together. It's fresh slate. And DC doesn't have the problem of like having certain IPs with other studios. Like they can really do something here under DCU and James Gunn. But then it's just like, I still can't shake the fact that it's not a complete, total reboot. And I just feel like it's going to get a little bit messy. Unless they're full reboots of the character, same casting, but they start from square one. That I could see it working. But and
it's, the way that Gunn has described it is just fucking confusing to me.
Yeah.
Because he says that it's mostly the same, but there's also some changes. I don't get it. I like Gunn, so I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt here.
I like the idea of him just keeping what works. I like Margot Robbie. I like Viola Davis as.
Viola Davis is the one person I'd keep.
You really wouldn't keep John Cena?
God damn it! I do like John Cena.
Need them as
because the thing is, you also have to think, how heavy of an effect is Peacemaker gonna have?
That's true. That is a good point.
Yeah.
And I like that they're keeping Blue Beetle. I actually think they should just
They're
keep
keeping
that
Blue
movie
Beetle?
canon.
Didn't that movie flop?
Not in my eyes. Not in my eyes. This is flop.
The thing is, though, Blue Beetle is good.
I didn't see it.
That was the best. That was the best movie DC dropped post Suicide Squad by a fucking landslide.
That's fair. It's just all right. Whenever you look at early MCU slate, you see Iron Man, Hulk, Thor, Captain America, etc. And it's like they're building to one thing. With this one, it's Blue Beetle, Superman, Creature Commandos, whatever. It's like I don't know. It doesn't feel like a start of, like they're gonna build to something, which I'm sure they are.
They don't need to rush to Justice League though. Like I can't lie. I don't think they're in any particular hurry because that's the exact problem the DCU suffered from.
I don't know. I just can't see how Creature Commandos is going to tie to, the greater story at hand. And I don't know.
It probably won't. It's probably just going to be a fun show.
And I also don't like that James Gunn was like, if you play them in the cartoon, you have to play them in live action or whatever the fuck, vice versa. I think that's really lame. I don't like that. Animation should kind of be a place where voice actors are allowed to play in. And I think it's unfair that people who primarily act in voice acting are not able to have the opportunity. They're not live action and performers, so it's pretty lame in my opinion. I ain't gonna lie, but I mean, if they want to keep it consistent, just do what the Clone Wars did. Like, I think what made the Clone Wars so great was that the voice actors were going for their on-camera performers, but it's so different to where they're doing their own thing, and you can still have fun with it. Like, I don't think.
Yeah, I do agree with you there, Josh. All right. Let's go ahead and wrap things up. I guess we'll do social plugs. That's usually how we end this. Gofas, where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram, Nicholas Gofas, Twitter, Nick Gofas. And me on Snap, Nicholas Gofas. I do streaks.
Jet Moore.
You want me to give my phone number too?
Yeah, do that.
Social security, address, IP, address,
My email.
everything.
My email is gofasnicholas@gmail.com. If you want to email me
Credit
something.
card information.
I'm gonna send you a zip bomb.
It's on the back too.
Josh, what about you?
Follow my Instagram at JantMoreTV, and then follow my new modeling page at Two Sided Judgment.
All right, Sim, what about you?
You can follow me on Letterboxd at Simrit Grewal. That's Grewal. You can maybe follow my Instagram if you're cool. That's Instagram user The Book Was Better. And follow Real the Core on all socials.
You should follow Real the Core. You can catch me on Instagram at jpw.main is the one I use the most. Yeah, we'll see y'all next time. Peace out.
Bye, guys. This was fun.